Yeah, obviously we're very keen to win the series. It's been a while since we've won a series home or away, and coming up against a really powerful Indian lineup, like you said, there's been some real positives, particularly with the bat in these two games. There's been a lot of improvement over the last 8-10 months to be really proud of in these two games, but it's still, like you said, 1-1. So the way that we've bowled as a unit, I think, has been outstanding. Young Jai Richardson has been really impressive, particularly in Sydney, and then again the other day to cop some tap early from Shikhar in particular, and then the way that he bounced back and bowled some really tough overs was impressive. Berendorf's been great. Sids didn't have his best night the other night, but it's still all working to a plan, and yeah, there's been a lot of improvement, a lot to be proud of so far, but winning the series is the main focus. Yeah, I think, like I said before, Jai Richardson, we've seen how well he can perform in domestic cricket. He's had a bit of a taste of it, particularly in England, where that was a really tough tour for the bowlers, in particular. It was for everyone, but I think the way that he's fronted up this tour or this series and bowled really well against world-class players has been outstanding. He's shown a lot of skill. He's shown a lot of resilience as well by when guys are coming hard at you with some pretty big reputations and some big numbers behind them. He's held his nerve really well, and that's a real positive for us. I think it's about giving him the best opportunity to perform. He's been shuffled around the order a lot, so we're keen to give him some consistent position and allow him to play a game that he's pretty comfortable with in terms of open the batting in one-day cricket, T20 cricket. So in terms of what it looks like going forward, I think that's gonna have to wait and see. Obviously, Steve's elbow surgery the other day apparently went really well, and some reports in the last hour or so of Davey having an injured elbow as well. So it's about trying to have as many bases covered as we can going into the India and Pakistan series, and then onto the World Cup. So if we've got a few guys that can play 3 or 4 different roles in the side, whether it be opening, middle order, floater, finishing off the innings, I think that gives us a lot of flexibility with the squad makeup. When you're searching for runs, you can be searching for the right recipe, and I think over the last couple of days I've had a chance to go back and look at some footage and see what's worked really well when I've got hundreds for Australia and felt like I've been playing really well. So it's just about making sure that I give myself the best chance, and maybe I've been too tentative in the last couple of games, letting a bit of pressure build up, and it's always a fine balance between attack and hanging in there and waiting for the right time to sort of, I suppose, be aggressive and take on the game. But I still feel I'm a very good player. I think 13 international hundreds suggests that I do know what is required. It's just a case of just getting through that initial part, and I'm probably looking to put a bit of pressure back on the bowler. I think at the moment I've just been a little bit tentative in my thought process and in my footwork at times. So I think it's just about going back to my natural game and just letting that flow and finding the right rhythm. Yeah, I think we're in a unique situation at the moment where we have a lot more coverage of cricket. There's a lot more commentators. There's a lot more social media interest around it. So I think for the young guys, it's important to not let that get to you. I think it's important to have either your own network of people to go back to and people who you really trust with your own game as well, outside of the Australian cricket team coaches. I think at times the best thing that you can do is go back and see someone who you're really comfortable with and who's seen your game over a long period of time, and if that's your state coach, if it's your club coach, if it's a personal coach, I think it can be good just to have a different voice at times. A lot of the time they're telling you the exact same thing that everyone else is, but it's coming from a different place, and that can be really refreshing at times. So in terms of the criticism of our young fast bowlers and things like that, I think they've been outstanding. They're playing a high intensity game under some real pressure against a real world-class team. So there's going to be times when they have the better of you, and there's going to be times when you have the better of them, and that's professional sport, that's professional cricket. So you have to accept it at times, but my advice is just to tune out as much of that as you can, because it can get you down. And I think the great Sachin once said, I don't need people to tell me how well I'm going, I don't need people to tell me how poor I'm going. So you know yourself, you know in your heart how you're going, so I think that's the most important thing.